So yeah, like I was
We've got stuff we're not even
essentially
allowed to sell.
Good
people.
day.
problems.
Only at Mickey Mouse.
Essentially, okay, I keep thinking the way the cat says "good day" to me. I thought that was you speaking to me.
House must have special
Good
plans for
day.
you to get into the
But
lucky 38 and
essentially
come
the problems
out
were
alive.
New Vegas anti-crash was not updated. Windows 10 anniversary seems to fuck with it. So I updated that. It was still crashing. New Vegas stutter remover was removed because apparently that doesn't work with Windows 10, which was pointed out by Almabic, who's here with me
Hi,
now.
I'm Almabec. Hello.
Do you remember why that was the case? I just uninstalled it and it worked, so I'm not gonna
Oh,
question.
I googled it and looked. I googled Fallout New Vegas crashing on Windows 10 and looked at the first result.
Wait, that was what the fuck? I got a Bethesda support ticket that was like, duh, run it in compatibility mode, which by the way broke the game even faster.
Well, Bethesda not knowing how to fix bugs, who would have thought?
I know, shocking. Which is actually a point I wanted to make, because again, New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game for a very basic reason that when I'm asked what are the problems with the game, I say it's really buggy and unstable. That's it, really. Like, this is a game that really could benefit from a remaster because it's kind of just good in every other way. The only things that are really holding it back are its stated like technicalities, which by the way is kind of Bethesda's fault, just to be honest, because the creation engine was made for Morrowind, which is like 10 years ago, and you could even say, oh, well, you want to get your use out of the engine, but hey, what, they still didn't, what the fuck? That's disturbing. But hey, they still didn't get their use out of it. I mean, they've still used it for like another 10 years. The Fallout 76 is still in the engine. Huh. Why the hell is Little Buster dead?
I killed them.
Who killed him?
Me.
Oh,
I did.
I guess you won't need that anymore. Oh, excuse me.
Guess it's time to take your stuff.
But it is very much a thing of, its only real flaws are really technical and engine-wise. Like, most of I looked at my mod list, which wasn't as lean as I thought. A lot of bug fixes, some quest tweaks. I actually really need to get rid of the Mr. House Brotherhood Alliance thing, because that's just wishful thinking on my part. They really shouldn't be allowed to be allies. It makes sense why they're not.
You have choices that you have to make. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I installed a lot of these when I was like 14 or 15, so you know.
I also installed that mod when I was like 15 because
It's not fair.
But I like both of them. Why can't they be friends?
Again, it is actually really good that I have to make choices, and the choices are difficult. In fact, it's quite good. In a way, it's a show of how good the writing is that people would include a mod that makes these factions want to be friends because people like them both enough that they wanted to have an easy out. Like, it wasn't just, oh, well, sucks to be this boring faction, or this boring faction. You know, people wanted to change it because they felt about it.
There's no like fucking, there's no allied faction supports mini faction in Fallout 4 because there's 4 factions.
There's 4 factions with no mini factions and no nuance. Again, Fallout New Vegas seems to be like the bastard child of the series where Bethesda doesn't acknowledge it. Mostly because I suspect they did a lot of things better, if I'm going to be throwing shade here.
I mean,
because
it's a different kind of game than Bethesda makes, because Bethesda makes walk around and kill and loot games.
Yeah, which speaking of which, it brings us to the Outer Worlds point, which we talked about before in the Outer Worlds stream. They look the same on paper, but New Vegas is a lot stronger because of the little tiny choices, like how you only get a perk every 2 levels, instead of Fallout 3 we get one every level, so you get 25 perks for 50 levels instead of 30 for 30. The way that, you know, you get less skill points, and you have to focus on intelligence if you want to maximize being good at multiple things. Which is undermined somewhat by the fact by the time you're level 50, your skill spread looks like mine, where you have like 108 different skills. Oh, sorry, 9. Again, might play with the JE Soil mod if I ever play again, because the game is getting... It's too easy anymore. Like, once you get... With the DLCs, although I do like all the DLCs, when you build to level 50, there's no more build by level 50.
Which is why I like that the Jay Sawyer mod limits the level cap to.
It makes the game harder,
And it limits the level cap.
which is good because when you get to
Having
level
a lower
50,
level cap is good. Because you don't get to level 50, because there is no level 50. Because I killed it.
yeet. And then the other thing was also, most of my mods again are very lean. Even though there were about 90 mods, this is way less than I have for something like Skyrim or even Fallout 3. Although Fallout 3 is mostly a bunch of shit to get it working and be satisfying, like aim down the sights.
You know what? You know what people meme that Fallout, that like Bethesda games take mods when you need mods to play them? Fallout 3, you literally need a mod to play it. It will not start if you don't get the mod that makes it work on Windows 8.
I think New Vegas gets more flack for its instability, especially on like operating systems like Windows 10, because people are still playing it on Windows 10. I don't think many people are playing Fallout 3 on Windows 10, and if they are, they probably have to go through a lot more bullshit to get it working, because fortunately people have made mods for New Vegas to get it working, because it's just really popular. My mod list has a lot of niche weapons that I like, a lot of niche armors that I like. I could probably drop most of it, and I probably will just for performance sake. The only real major mods are this beautiful night sky you're seeing before me, brought to me by Nevada Skies Better Weather mod, and the NMC and Oyo Bueno. Never gonna get it right. Oyo
Come to Mickey Ralph's for all
no,
your shopping needs.
Ojo Bueno's texture mods. I think that was right actually.
Cut to a Google voice reading it.
Oyo Bueno.
Oh, no, you should let me do it. I have a robo voice. Brain, Blonde, Tony Soprano. There we go.
Tony Sopranero's Tony Soprano's voice pack. No, not that. I would play a Tony Soprano's voice pack every time I get injured. He goes, "Oh, ah!"
Oh, wait, voice Tony Soprano companion. There we go. That's what we need.
I can make that. It'll take a little while, but I can make it. But yeah, again, most of the mods I have are visual or stuff to stabilize the game. There are very few. I have no mods, none at all, that are in any way related to fixing like part of the game. In fact, the one thing I might do, which is a personal choice, would be to have speech checks and like dialogue options hidden if I wasn't smart enough for them. Because I actually feel like being able to find them out and have only know the solutions when you're built for them is kind of a good thing. It's also something I understand why it's removed, especially for like accessibility, but when you play the game enough times you can kind of remember these things off by heart.
I can always remember everything.
It's true. It really is true. Again, I really hope this doesn't break. I will upload this as kind of a final like say on the game if I can't get it to work at all. Again, this is my favorite RPG in 10 years and my favorite RPG of all time. It really hasn't moved at all from that spot because of its design philosophy, and it's weird to say that when I'm hovering off the ground. It feels disingenuous, but the way that the game is constructed, just from like its quests, its writing, its characterization, the way companions are some of the best quests I've ever seen. It's the bar for companions, like just the little things of how like companions have to travel with you and see you do things and really understand that you're someone they can open up to. It doesn't just say Boone like this or Arcade Ganon like that or dislike that or you gave him a gift. You have to really do things that show them you're a good person and they made the right decision to follow you. That's when they open up to you, and it's completely hidden. The game never tells you. It's just little things like that make this game so good, and it's something that transcends any kind of technological progress or advancement. I mean, Fallout 76 could have RTX lighting, perfectly working synergy multiplayer.
Always suspected
It's just the
Benny
brand.
was a coward.
It's just
Which
a.
it doesn't have perfectly working synergy.
It's just a boring co-op Skinner box with Fallout's face on it, and I don't care for that. I wouldn't play that. It's not something I'm going to come back to. It's not something anyone's going to come back to in 5 years from now, unless they keep updating it, which they had to do, by the way, because it was broken. and not just broken from a... Again, 76, they had to update so much of it to change its core design. Like, they had to add quests, they had to add NPCs and factions. They had to put in a game. It wasn't just about fixing bugs. It wasn't just that it was unstable like New Vegas. The actual design philosophy that drove the game required serious updates. It really goes to show you that tech can't replace well thought out development and skilled developers. Not to say that Bethesda doesn't have skilled developers, I'm sure it does. I mean, getting Fallout 76 to work online, getting a creation engine to work with multiplayer is pretty impressive in a way. But there's something about Fallout New Vegas I've yet to see replicated even by the Outer Worlds, which is something we'll talk more about when we review the Outer Worlds. But for now,
I'll be there. I'm Almabec. I'm in everything.
we might do a review. It's on the back burner. I don't know how many people would watch that, but hopefully it'd be less of a live streamy type thing and more of an organized, half in the bag type discussion deal, because we do have different opinions on the game.
I call Rich Evans.
But Rich Evans is a guest star.
Exactly.
I think you know, I wanted to say you're Mike, but in retrospect, Mike is actually the more easygoing, and Jay is actually the one that's a little bit more.
Yeah, and you're a contrarian, so it fits.
Fuck. Mike's not a contrarian.
The
Yes, he
Kings
is.
are working with an
Really?
SCR?
Would you say that?
What's this place coming to?
He is on every best of the worst.
That's because best of the worst movies are God's gift to humankind. Again, I really hope this video works. I've covered everything I need to say from a
He
streaming
changes his-
perspective. If
Oh,
this,
sorry.
sorry, you thought it was over. I continued because I'm an asshole.
No, you continue because
Yes. Again, I really hope this works, but even if this game crashes, it's not going to change. It will never change my opinion. What the fuck? Whatever. It will never change my opinion of the game simply because this is as... Do I have the Enclave Returns one installed? I better not.
damn, Daniel.
I hate the Enclave Returns mod.
Why'd you have it installed then?
I didn't think I had it installed. Again, the game's stuttering more, but it actually seems to be a bit more stable.
Hey. Honored to speak with you, sir.
But again, even if this game was to crash and there was no way for me to get it working and I had to just move on to another RPG, my opinion really will not change of this game. It is only held down by its technical aspects. Everything about it is exactly what I like in a video game. It's exactly what I like in an RPG. It's exactly what I like about quest design, characterization, writing, combat, the way the character is built, everything about it from a gameplay perspective. You could say the combat is not brilliant, but it's an RPG. Its combat is secondary to the story and writing, and that is what New Vegas has that Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 just won't ever have. If this game was to crash and I had to end this Let's Play right here and upload this video as a sad, tragic farewell of how this game just wouldn't work with Windows 10, I still stand by my opinion that I prefer this over anything Bethesda's ever made, and I prefer this over any possible Fallout title that comes in the future, prefer it over Outer Worlds. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this again. Maybe Cyberpunk will be that thing that finally brings back the same memories and feelings that I get from this game, and I admit completely to being biased in favor of Cyberpunk and this game in equal measure, but I guess we just have to wait and see.
Wow, I can't believe you like things that other people like. That's cringe.
Yeah, this game gets circle jerked. Everyone thinks this game is so much better than Fallout 3 because it works and has a plot that's coherent.
No, Waterman want water because he's good at water story. I've seen people actually say that Fallout 3 has the better story, and I'm like, I'm sorry, are you?
Hey, reminder that both the Enclave and the Brotherhood actually legitimately do have the exact same goal if you listen to Colonel Autumn, which I did because I pay attention to stories, unlike the writers
push the
apparently.
button on the water machine.
The only
Puts water
difference,
in the river. It makes the river water. What
the only
fuck
evil
are you
option is to poison it against the super mutants, which Colonel Autumn also said was a bad idea, which means you are both going there with the exact same goal.
The evil robot man, the evil robot president goes, "Hey, Colonel Autumn wouldn't let me commit genocide. Why don't you do it?"
Where I'm
So he
trapped
just
in
wa-
here by Colonel Autumn and his band of merry rational thinkers.
What is he gonna do? What is Colonel? So Colonel Autumn's just pushing the button. What's wrong with that?
The one thing you could say is he probably wouldn't distribute water to the ghouls, but Fallout 3
Yeah, but-
also fucks up in this regard because the Brotherhood don't like ghouls either. Oops.
And also, it turns the whole river into fresh water. The whole thing.
What is he gonna do?
makes-
Stop everyone free? Is he gonna run around the riverbank going,
Is
no,
he
don't
gonna
drink
follow-
it, it's not for you?
Is he gonna guard the whole river if we don't stop him from pushing the button?
He has no ideological differences with the Brotherhood of Steel in any way that would actually affect what he does. If he were to push the button and purify everything, the Brotherhood could just sit there and pat itself on the back and go, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Now, I've purified all the water for evil. No.
You can't control the flow of water unless you start building dams, which, by the way, not that easy to do in an apocalypse.
See, here's the thing: is that basically Colonel Autumn is less evil than like the actual government of countries that privatized their water
This is true.
to Nestle. So
Yes.
basically, Colonel Autumn is not even his plan isn't evil. He's just kind of a dick for no reason. I don't know. He's gonna push the water machine button. What's really evil is the fact that your dad fucking tries to blow it up. Like, dude.
The only
Liam
real
Neeson-
thing we know, like unless the dad knows more about Enclave, it never seemed like he did, is the only thing he knows is that this guy comes in with the military, so you know, fair enough that
And
he's
he's
standing
like,
off about it.
My
And he says,
water
like,
machine now.
This is
and
our
he's
water
like,
machine.
No,
And then he says no, and he blows it up, which is the most selfish, baffling thing to do, considering your dad's supposed
I
to be a
won't
good
let
guy.
you make water without me.
In fact, this is actually one tiny thing I actually do prefer to. Who the fuck are you? Oh, you're a Scorpions member. Good. Didn't ask. Don't care.
Don't care to ask. Plus, you were Scorpion.
But I kind of feel bad for killing him. I don't think he could have stopped me.
You know, well, he's probably killed people that couldn't stop him.
That's true. Fuck him and fuck his haircut.
But I didn't say go that far.
Again, this is another thing of oh, there's a trap in that mailbox. It's a thing of just that this is something New Vegas does well that Fallout 3 doesn't. It gets story and characterization and companions and writing right. These are just things that have always made RPGs memorable in people's minds. And definitely, from my opinion, like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, Arcanum.
Definitely not fucking remembered for the combat. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Yeah,
So,
that combat sucks. Guess what? People still love playing it. If you make, it doesn't matter how good combat gets in these games, they will not be remembered for their RPGs if they are remembered for their combat. And
Like, that's
there's
the
a,
thing.
if I want to get good combat, I'll play Doom. I like Doom. You know?
Like, that's the thing is that, like, Fallout 4 was a big step up in combat, but it's still aggressively mediocre. And that's like, well, if I wanted, and it's massively focused on combat, so it's like, if I wanted to play a game for the combat, I'd play a game with good combat, built around the idea of having good combat, not a game that's like half trying to be an RPG,
Ultimately-
half trying to be a Borderlands game.
Ultimately, in my opinion, what deflates the New Vegas versus Fallout 4, whatever argument you want to have, what really deflates that argument for me is the fact that if you transplant all the good from Fallout 4 into New Vegas, you get the same game with better graphics and better weapons. If you transplant what's good about Fallout 4, so if you transplant what's good about New Vegas into Fallout 4, you would have to change massive parts of the quests, the writing. You'd have to completely redo the leveling system. You'd have to redo the dialogue system. You'd have to redo how skill checks work. There are so many things you'd have to do to get Fallout 4 to look like New Vegas that you just don't have to do in the case of New Vegas for Fallout 4.
All of the improvements are on a structural and engine level and have very little to do with actual design of the game itself, which is good because the game itself is ass. So I hope they didn't put a lot of effort into it.
Oh, what the fuck? Doggies!
Oh,
Two doggies. That's right. That's right. Go back to New Jersey, cocksucker.
hey, go back to New Jersey.
I'm Phil Leotardo and I am now a house.
I'm Tony
Oh wait,
Soprano.
you're
and
cowering,
I'm,
that's fine, I'll leave you alone.
No, kill them.
No, it's a dog.
Leave no one. Leave none alive.
I can't
no
believe you're
survivors.
advocating for me to kill the dog.
I'm just advocating for you to kill everything.
Oh, well that's more principled, I guess.
I don't know, it makes me a worse person, honestly, but that's still what I'm doing. More
Yeah.
killing is always better, is always worse than less killing.
There's also just another thing, New Vegas' map I just think is better. This is more of a personal thing. You could say Fallout 3 gets the post-apocalypse setting right, but New Vegas, I mean, honestly the Fallout series in general is more about civilizations after the apocalypse. It's not set during an apocalypse.
I mean, I think that the thing for me is from a purely visual gameplay perspective, Fallout 3's map is very ugly and bad to look at and boring. And like, you can argue, wow, it really shows that society's ruined and everything, but like, that doesn't make it better to look at. Like, it's not, like, I feel like Metro gets that aesthetic a lot better than Fallout 3 does.
Oh yeah, it does, because it's also not open world, so it uses its tighter world design and high graphical fidelity to bring it across better.
Like, I think Metro does that aesthetic, like, goes for that a lot better. I don't even think Fallout 3 is that good at that aesthetic, and I think it gets really overpraised for how well it actually pulls it off.
I would say the only thing it really does well is the Gothic architecture, but in fairness, that actually is in like the original Fallout. So it is nice to see it brought to life in Fallout 3. Don't get me wrong, but it's I don't know.
I feel like
To some extent, I do. Sorry, go on.
No, you can go ahead.
To some extent, I do actually like Fallout 3's world. It's just that honestly, in retrospect, it's more of the generic world, to be honest. New Vegas has a lot more of like a pointer design. You don't see raiders everywhere. You see different kinds of gangs and cultures and communities that form. Like, even if they are just ostensibly raiders, the fact that like the fiends are a product of New Vegas's drug culture is interesting. I fast travel a lot, but there are still locations in the game I'm surprised I've never seen before, because it does actually have quite a lot going for it. Fallout 3's, honestly, whatever you want to say about how much New Vegas makes you walk across dusty desert highways, I still prefer these desert highways to Fallout 3's metro subway tunnel every single time they want to transplant me to a new bit of Washington, D.C.
I really didn't like the Metro tunnel. It was very. They weren't.
How the gangers?
How are gangers?
No way.
But like, that's the thing is that like, so in Fallout New Vegas, you got the powder gangers, you got the vipers and the jackals. They're not really like a major thing. They're just kind of they're like two things of them. And then you got the fiends, and that's basically all your raider groups. You don't just have a bunch of random raiders raiding for no reason. But in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, there's just raiders. They're just a generic. Well, of course, people would be raiding Lamau.
Even though in some ways it actually doesn't make sense for them to still be raiding.
There's just infinite numbers of them. And no matter where you go, the population is like 99% raider. That's how mafia work.
I mean, again, this is definitely true.
And it's like in Fallout the one thing I really like about like Fallout New Vegas's map design as compared to other like Bethesda games, I mean like other games on Bethesda engines, is that it's like it's not it doesn't think that you'll get bored if you haven't shot something in the
Yes.
last 5 seconds.
There are long,
Like-
quiet in-betweens, and when you see enemies, generally as you're... Oh, shit. Well, this is a good example right now. Generally, as you're walking around, you actually do get you get good points where you can stop, really think about how you want to approach a situation. Like, for example, I see Deathclaws up ahead. I just picked up a Colt M16 from the ground, from my enemy. And now I can have a look at this approach, and I see how do I actually want to handle this. Maybe want to throw some grenades in ahead of time. Maybe want to focus them down with the laser rifle, which is what I'm probably going to do.
Like when you go to a
Sneaks quite
place, like when you go to a place, the game isn't just like, okay, here's 15 enemies to fight for no reason. Enjoy. The game is actually like, usually when you go to a new location, you're gonna find people or something interesting. And not just a raider gang who's raiding and has been raiding for 1,000 years and will raid for 1,000 more.
1,000-year raid.
Long after you have perished from this
1,000-year
earth,
raid.
you'll be raiding. Long after you have perished from this earth, they be raiding.
Do be raiding.
You be raiding though.
Yeah, the game seems to be a lot more stable ever since I got rid of the stutter remover, which is lovely. I don't know how long it will last, but hey, at least from what it seems like so far, I will be able to work with it. Die!
And it's also very much like, see, the thing is that the problem with the, like, you could say, like, well, yeah, a bunch of enemies, because otherwise people would get bored, but the thing is that that works in, like, that only, like, if you're trying to make, like, a Skyrim style, like, the game is just walking around killing random shit for very little to no reason, or because someone in a town said, I lost my locket in this ancient crypt from 1,000 years ago. Well, please get it back. Please. I can't take, look, Skyrim has very poor labor laws. I can't take a day off to go to that camp.
There's fundamentally, here's something I've always thought about that is a big problem with sorry, not New Vegas, the Outer Worlds and Skyrim style quest design, where it is like, go do this thing for me for monetary gain and the implied gain of experience. There are very lot of times where I'm like, I'm gonna do this because this will probably, in some way, help bring things around this community to a better situation. There was very little...
What do you mean getting Timothy's sword back is totally gonna help the community?
Even a game like Mountain Blade Warband, you have to appreciate the thing that, like, doing quests for villages helps raise its prosperity. Getting better relationships with lords will help you down in the future. There are little side things outside of just the reward of money and experience which you get anyway from doing these quests. New Vegas...
Nothing ever...
Go on.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say, nothing ever improves in, like, Skyrim for anyone, based off anything you do. Like, there's never a tangible, I've made things better for the people living here moment.
New Vegas
Even
has...
If, like,
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you can go.
New Vegas has very strong moments of, if you do this, this character or this town or this world or this faction will get better or worse or change in some way. That is a good reason to do it. Like, changing the Brotherhood's leader will help. Changing the even small quests that don't actually have ending sides, like, you know, helping two people who are in love and they've been admiring each other through binoculars. That's an interesting quest. We have to go back and forth and do speech checks. There's no combat in it. You do some combat quests, but usually their purpose is to get you more in trust with the faction, or to clear out an area so a group can move in, or to get some kind of goods. Like, you clear out the Mirelurks, you could say, oh, it's the same fundamental quest design of like, sure, you're raising a B-29-129 bomber out of a lake, but the quest, but you could still say, well, the quest objective is still boils down to go here and kill the Mirelurks, then place a few things. But it's an implication of what you're doing.
I didn't even fight Mirelurks when I did that.
You don't have to do it, yeah. But again, it's like the actual enjoyment of the quest is seeing this B-129. It's not anything to do with the experience or killing enemies or getting loot. It's seeing that bomber rise out of the surface and having people tell you, we're going to make sure that thing flies. We're going to make sure that thing gets airborne. And then you get to see it go airborne at Hoover Dam when it rains down an airstrike on the Legion or the NCR or whoever you're siding with. That's what's interesting about it. That's what's fun about the quest. Joshua Graham lives. Anyway, let's jump into Old World Blues, since I believe my game is still
Well, spoiler, you can't just say where you're going. Banned.
It's 10 years. I'm sorry if this is a spoiler for you.
What about the people who are fighting in the Middle East? They wouldn't know this.
Well, when your conflicts end, I hope you take time to enjoy the game, or you can just play it when
now you're just saying
you're
they're
on break.
never gonna get to play it.
Well, maybe when you want to break from fighting, because you have to stop sometime.
In the years before the Great War, Big Mountain had been the home to the brightest minds of the 21st century. Scientists of vision were drawn to the facility to tackle the greatest technological challenges of the era.
If you will.
They sought to create a new world, fueled by technology for the benefit of all mankind. Sonic emitters, space-age alloys, DNA hybridization, force field particle research, autodoc advances in cranial, cardiac, and trauma surgery. The hopes and dreams of a century became realities in the electronic forges of Big Mountain. The nucleus of this research was the Dome, a huge stone facility that held the labs of every science known to man. It was a think tank where no problem could not be solved, where no question could not be answered. The Great War brought a new energy to Big Mountain and its scientists. Although sheltered from the front lines, the scientists waged their own war, fighting their battles at the atomic level. Equations and calculations marched endlessly across chalkboards and computer terminals toward one solution: winning the war. For years, the minds and computers of Big Mountain were a blaze of trajectories, weapon schematics, and nuclear theories. The problems began to outpace the solutions, first geometrically, then exponentially.
I'm back. Have you met Venture
As the
Bros
war
guy yet?
escalated, so did the questions. On the night of October 23rd, 2077, the scientists received an answer that put all their questions to rest. In the aftermath, Big Mountain's silent experiments went to sleep, their creators slowly dying in the new world that had been left behind. And the great stone in the middle of the Big Empty lay untouched, filled with countless technological wonders. Wonders that, in the end, had been answers to the wrong question.
Now, there's going to be a lot of dialogue here, but I will talk about this DLC once we're in it, because it's very good.
They should have been asking what's like Mahal, so no, you should say your thoughts at the end of the DLC. Yeah.
No. You feel strangely heavier. A quick inspection of your body reveals faint surgical scars around your head, chest, and neck.
And cock. Cock. Nice.
Okay, still have my belt. Nice ass. No, So yeah, pretty good opening. Fun fact, when I jumped into this DLC on the PS3, I could never stay on this balcony for long because on the PS3, trying to look out at the big empty like facility would just make my PS3 start throwing a shit fit. Core alien obelisks to the side. Oh, I guess that's a spoiler, I'm sorry. Whoops! Let's see why all of my body parts have been unheckin' wholesome replaced. Oh yeah, I got a robotic spine, so technically Ambik thinks this is a winning scenario.
I mean, it is. It gives you better stats. So.
No, I don't want it.
Why do you want your pathetic human spine?
Look at that. I actually forgot I have a mod for this. I have Eleonora's updated sync.
Your torso cannot be crippled. What else do you want? Idiot. Accept your better spine.
But yeah, as you can see, I actually have the a mod for this house. It fills it up. It's got a lot of very cool little design features. Something interesting, 6 there. Something that might be of note. Holy shit. Nice. Something that might be of note is actually one thing I really like about all these DLCs, especially, is they all actually merge. It's all a cohesive narrative. Each DLC is unique and can be played on its own, but on the same time, they all connect to each other. They're all part of a greater plot that recontextualizes the events of the main game without being so crucial to the main game that you would need to play these DLCs to understand it. For example, I'm not going to spoil too much of the big MT because we are here, so it does seem more likely that we should go through it. But one thing I will say is you may have seen some adverts. I think there's one on the wall. This cosmic knife, the Saturnite knife, that was in the Dead Money DLC. That was a technology that the big NT research facility had created and sent to that place. That's why there were holograms at the Sierra Madre, because it's this top of the line, just before the Great War casino that has a lot of the highest tech that's being given to them by places like this. So it's just a nice little overlap between them. We'll get more into the ways that this DLC overlaps with others in the future. But as it exists now, just a nice, neat little cross between them. Even the big MT, actually, one thing I really loved about this DLC is actually, in a way, it kind of does what Fallout 76 didn't. Not to shit on the game again, but this nice little touch of this DLC, I suppose I will say, just because it's interesting, in my opinion, all of the central characters of this quest are pretty much just robots. There's not a single, at least as far as I remember, there's not a single human being to be found anywhere.
I mean, they're humans. They're just robots.
They are robots. Okay, fair enough.
They got human brain.
Wait, do you hear that song?
Brain. No.
Song is in the universe played by Vera Keys. Actually, fun fact about the song, it was written, I believe, by Josh Sawyer, and it's performed by, I believe, a secretary that was working for Obsidian at the time, so good for her, because she has a pretty damn good voice.
She was the one viewer.
Well, if you're watching, I like your work.
I also liked your work. I don't think you're watching, but if you are, you're good. I like you're good. You're good.
It's actually just
Thumbs up.
again another little thing about that I like about New Vegas. It is a little bit present in Fallout 4, which is nice. People make their own songs. There's new cultures. Like songs about New Reno or Home on the Waste. They're retellings of classic American folk songs. There's a good sense of what a post-apocalyptic America will look like, not only in its design aspects, which is something Fallout 3 kind of gets a look at, but something New Vegas does, and Fallout 1 and 2 especially also do, is they get a good look at the fabric of what an American society would look like. Not only post-apocalypse, but what kind of society America would have made that would drive them into the apocalypse. And the big NT is a big part of that, because it's about science at any cost. It's about science as a military means to overcome not only technological problems, but national and political problems that are faced by its enemies. A lot of what you see in this DLC reflects the kind of society you had before the collapse, and that's what's good about it. It recontextualizes the events of not only New Vegas, but in my opinion, but this DLC especially for all of Fallout, gives you a very good look at what this kind of universe was like before the collapse. Something that Fallout 4, despite showing you the past, completely fails to do, in my opinion. I'm gonna rant again. I'm gonna go into Fallout 4 again because
Hold on,
the opening of
Hold on,
Fallout 4. The opening of Fallout 4.
wait.
Go on. Sorry.
But yeah, like, honestly, I don't think Fallout 4 really gets across the fact that Fallout 4 just kind of, I mean, I understand that for your character, maybe they'd have nostalgia and be like, oh yeah, it was great and idyllic, and it's like,
The
we're gonna
Fallout
rebuild.
universe.
The thing is that in the Fallout universe, America was a fascist state that would execute, like, Fallout 1 opens with, like, you watching footage of, like, Canadian POWs being executed.
Our boys keeping peace on the front lines.
And there's, like, a ton of, like, even in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, there's a ton of, like, propaganda posters and stuff, and, like, people are like, oh, Vault-Tec was just evil. You know, like, most of the things Vault-Tec does that are evil were backed by the US government in Fallout.
I mean,
like,
again, that's actually something Fallout 3 does better than Fallout 4 a lot of the time. It does
Fallout
actually
3
get
gets-
that these societies were really fucked up before. And then Fallout 4, like, look, Liberty Prime, isn't he cool? He says the communist things, and it's like,
In
do you
Fallout-
get
in
what Fallout 3
3
was doing?
This is the thing, is that, like, for as much shit as I'll give Fallout 3, Fallout 3 having a giant robot that chucks nuclear weapons like footballs and spouts anti-communist propaganda is, like,
It's so perfect.
very,
It's so
this
funny.
is, like, such a good, this is actually such good, like, satire, and it just went, and people, like, unironically think, wow, what a cool robot, I wish I had this cool robot.
A
It's
giant,
like, no.
beefy robot that shouts anti-communist propaganda and chucks nuclear footballs is exactly the kind of culture, jingoist culture summarized up in a single mechanical being, and it's perfect. It's actually one of my favorite parts of Fallout 3, and I'll give them a lot of credit for it. And then I will shit on Fallout 4 for ruining it.
And then Fallout
Because then it goes,
4
wow,
just does-
cool robot.
It's like, you know that meme where it's like, Cyberpunk has all these themes and the line goes over someone saying,
Wow,
cool
cool
robot? Now imagine that, but the line loops back around, back into the source material.
Because it's, I guess they had different writers, but Jesus, man. I mean, but yeah, like, to say, this is something else that I say, something that's even unique about Fallout's Apocalypse is, again, war never changes. This universe isn't going to hell because of the apocalypse. These people aren't making mistakes because we're in the apocalypse. They're making the same mistakes that history... Again, this is part of Josh Sawyer's interest and academic background in history and politics. These groups aren't really making mistakes we don't make all the time. It's just showing you what the worst possible thing that, again, in the 1950s to 70s was a very extremely real fear of, like, just, we will kill ourselves over politics and might makes right, and I know better, I know what's best for society. Kind of like ideology and mantra, them or us, that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff that was the embodiment of the Cold War era politics taken to its nth degree. Like, the might makes right dogma completely takes over America in the Cold War. This is like a warning. Why do they annex Canada? Because they can, and because, hey, wasn't it always just a smaller part of America anyway at heart? And besides, it's easier to funnel troops to fight the Chinese this way.
Finally.
It's very much Fallout a lot more than a lot of apocalypses. A lot of apocalypses skip why we got to where we are. Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, and even a little bit of Fallout 3 in places that...
Fallout 3 does it enough.
Yeah,
Fallout
it does
4
it
is the
enough.
only Fallout game I would say where it's just like, wow, you completely missed the point.
One of Fallout 4's biggest mistakes, in my opinion, is that it romanticizes the past. It says that these are the things we should strive to be back and doing. We need to remember what was good. And it has this weird nostalgia for all these things that are so in the society that is shown in every other Fallout game to be so immoral and wrong. And just fucked up, like aggressive hyper-capitalism, jingoism,
I mean, I
nuclear
think it's very telling for Fallout 4's view of the past that both of the good factions are references to historical things, and
Yes.
both of the bad factions are new things.
Ultimately, that's actually kind of the allure of what the Legion represents in the game. I'm not saying I agree with them, but the Legion represents this idea that America failed because its values were rotten at a core. It was wrong, and to try and repeat them will create the same mistakes. It's kind of what Ulysses gets at too, although it's a little too on the nose for my tastes. In fact,
He's
extremely
also
on the
just
nose, not a little.
And also his solution is just like, everything is shit, I'm gonna blow it up. Shrug.
Yeah, it's a very nihilist worldview. I actually get why he has that kind of nihilist worldview considering what's happened to him, but I still think it's kind of meh overall as a story plot point. We'll get to it when we play Lonesome Road. Big NT feels appropriate to talk about the pre-war setting, especially with this wonderful jazz playing in the background. The kind of idea of like technological excess. And I don't say that as like a return to tradition meme thing. I mean it more in the sense of technology as a solution for everything.
Technology on its own won't solve most societal problems. Like, you can't develop the anti-racism machine.
It's a vision of a technocratic society where choices are made. Whoever has might and whoever has might in this universe is whoever has the strongest tech. It's why power armor is so revered as like it's the icon of America in the same way that something again Fallout 3 does well is like the Chinese stealth suit and the dragoons, these soldiers trained from birth to be perfectly ideological super soldiers. They are a mirror of the American power armored soldier who is supposed to be invulnerable. He walks into combat shrugging off bullets and arms and he launches nukes from his shoulder. It's a mirror of the Chinese. It's basically saying both of these factions are doing whatever they can to gain an advantage over one another, and they're pretty similar.
And neither of them are good.
Exactly.
That's the thing that, because Fallout, if you just play Fallout 4, you would get this really like, wow, pre-war America sure was great.
Isn't it a shame it all came tumbling down? No, it's not a shame. It's so obvious why it came tumbling down. It's so fucked up, the society, there was no other outcome but for nuclear annihilation. And whatever countries that might have been good were dragged along with it because of the game that these countries like the US and China, and a little bit the Soviet Union, although they're scaled back in Fallout universe, were playing at. And in some ways I quite respect that the Chinese supplant the Soviets, because then you get too much of that Cold War Red Scare motif that's been done before and feels unfair in some ways.
That feeling when the game has all this, and then you go on Twitter and some guy's like, Fallout is about how communists are bad.
Again, I think not having the Soviets as a villain does a lot to bring that in. Although in retrospect, now the way we treat China as a political entity is probably pulling that back somewhat. Not to say that China is a good country by any means, but it does feel like we're searching around the globe for another enemy to fight in a bad way.
Okay, it's time to, we need a new Fallout, and next game like Fallout, Croatia. We're going with Croatia.
No, the old degenerates like Slovenia. Uh-oh, I'm banned from Twitch for saying that joke.
Twitch doesn't even know what a Slovenia is.
That's true.
So.
On with the plot. A strange feeling
is
of
the plot.
pacifism comes over you. You find you cannot draw your weapon for some reason. Oboe Blues is a fantastic DLC. It's actually a better comedic satire than the Outer Worlds ever was. This DLC is much funnier than Outer Worlds. in my opinion.
Pacification fields kick in. All
Not
right.
very hard.
Stupid fucking nuts.
I'll handle this.
Wait, I'm a nerd
Be
too.
warned, intruder.
Sheldon is
You
the-
are in
Yeah,
the
Sheldon's gonna
presence
love these
of
guys.
a mighty think tank of Big
No, I said he's the kind
Mountain.
of person who
The
goes,
collective
"Fucking
geniuses
nerd,"
of
continue being a massive.
we. By Oppenheimer, which one of you
Yummy mentats.
self-professed geniuses has been adjusting my volume knob? Who was it? Was it you, 8? Oh, Dr. O, was it? Likely story. O couldn't spark 2 neurons if they were in a lattice of biomed gel.
What? Me? Breaking news, Klein. It wasn't me, all right? I'm the robotical engineer. 8 is sound waves. That's his specialty. You always do this. You always demean me in front of guests. And it's not O, all right? It's...
Enough! Either of you do it again, it'll be the last time. Now, great. Now I forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about?
I'm gonna say, what is the Sheldon thing?
Bazinga.
Not to cut your speech off, is there something coming in on the big monitor?
Dr. Klein, a transmission from the Forbidden Zone, coming right at us. It can only be...
Right at.
If it isn't my old colleagues, the mighty think tank of Big Mountain. Big fools, all of you.
Fools.
It is
Suckers.
I, Dr. Mobius, transmitting from my dome-shaped dome in the Forbidden Zone. A zone that is, yes, forbidden to you. Even now, my deadly robo-scorpions swarm across Big Mountain with their pincers and pointy laser tails. Soon, all science will be mine. Even the technology sealed in the Big Mountain research centers cannot save you. So cower in your think tank. Wait for the end. That's all.
That's all.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Mobius. Always the same broadcast. He's clearly mad, driven insane by his flawed and imprecise kindergarten-level research methodology.
What are we going to do? There's no way we can breach the Forbidden Zone. There's those robot scorpions everywhere.
The Forbidden Zone, where no brain has ever entered, nor ever returned.
Except Dr. Mobius, and the technologies that could save us. They are out of our reach.
And Dr. Mobius mocks us. Did you see his cracked monitor? He's clearly let himself go.
Just let himself go.
What? Ask the lobotomite for help? 8, I think you need the fluid levels in your logic assist pumps checked.
If this lobotomite responded, Dr. Klein, then it is clearly
Oh,
intelligent.
I'm intelligent,
Perhaps
alright.
even
I'm Dr.
displays
Sheldon,
heretofore
motherfucking Cooper.
unknown levels of helpfulness.
But what of its brain? We scooped that out.
Bazinga.
We don't even know where we left it. And for putting it back in,
I like how they have the knowledge
none
to
of us have the
lobotomize me, but
knowledge.
no way to fix me.
Yes, but it's still aware and
I mean,
responsive.
destroying is easy.
Look at it. It's regarding us even now with its big teddy bear eyes. If we ask it politely and leave the part about the unnecessary, ruthless
I can hear you.
lobotomizing out, it might be favorably disposed to us.
You lobotomized me?
We removed your brain, yes. So soft, barely wrinkled, yet so flush with knowledge and
You can make it
experience.
tell my brain is of superior
Brain
merit.
extraction technology has been standard practice at Big Mountain for an immeasurable amount of time.
Once the brain was out, then came the coils. The Tesla coils. The coils of Nikola Tesla.
Brainless. Your head can no longer be crippled, resistant to chem addiction, 24% resistance, and shock from bodily damage, 5% damage threshold, minimum +1. Nice.
Yeah, ain't no need to brag. Wherever your brain is, it's transmitting thoughts to you through the
The Tesla coils in its head.
This is fortunate in many respects. If your brain was anywhere in the dome, why, you could access your aggression centers.
Circumventing the pacification field. This is a no.
I like how they're mega nerds. They have a
We have
pacification
never
field, so
been
no
in a
one can take their
fight.
lunch
We
money.
do not want that.
Yeah, so
Reminds me of my days in American
There we go.
Pie. And Richie Marcus.
That doesn't explain the laser sutures on my chest and my spine.
Darla,
My
was it
spine
necessary
now.
this time?
I assume full responsibility. I take my duties in the prodding and excision of living, breathing tissue quite seriously. Although in truth, the autodoc had done most of the work already. Quite industrious, almost cut into all my investigations. Once it had removed the brain and I misplaced it, other organs began to cry for direction, using your nerves as telegraph wires. Rather than let them send their signals, I removed them as well. Shh, little organs. Go to sleep in your tanks.
First was the heart.
Heartless. Think Tech is saying you cannot be poisoned, and filters in your artificial blood pump regulate bleeding, healing, allowing all chemical items to function at high levels. Robots are now confused by you and 50% likely to score critical, less likely to score critical hit. Poisoned. No poisoning. That's good.
Oh wait, I mean, second was the heart. Brain was first. Third was the spine.
Spine. Torso can no longer be crippled, and your strength and damage threshold have been increased by 1.
spine. Totally overrated, that arrangement of vertebrae. Look at me, with my lumbar and thoracic curvature. Never had a use for any of that.
Spineless is what I prefer. I bet it is. What do you mean you misplaced it?
To be correct, you should say, the autodoc took out your brain. It did all the heavy lifting. It has never worked so hard before. It was unusual. It worked so hard on your surgery, it destroyed its own memory. How odd. I bet your brain remembers what happened.
That autodoc junk heap was one of Mobius's creations, like the rest of the talking scrap metal in the attic.
Again, Autodoc,
After
present
that,
all
the
over
brain
Dead
lost
Money's
itself.
Sierra Madre.
Not in
And
a
also
metaphysical
terrible.
sense. Might have gotten flushed into one of the pipes. Actually, that's pretty likely.
If so, it was flushed all the way to Mobius. Flush. That is the sound of flushing.
Flushing.
By the Fisher of Rolando, enough of this biological surgery talk. Lobotomite, listen to my voice. It denominates me to ask, but we need your
I'm
help.
smarter than all of you.
In most probable of probabilities,
I
our
bet if
enemy,
you go into their stats,
Mobius,
the raw
has your
intelligence is all
brain.
like 7
This
or
is
6.
not good. He will most likely come after our brains next. We want you to stop him. Somehow.
Science.
With science.
First you scoop out my brain, now you want me to save you?
That is correct, yes.
Yes.
I hope you're not demonstrating resentment now. If you are, well, we can't have that.
How the hell am I even talking to you right now?
We have no idea. This line of questioning isn't important to us right now. Why are you asking these tangential questions? Stop it! We need these technologies. You need to get them.
You are equipped to retrieve the technologies with your primitive form. We are not.
It's kind of embarrassing. You have hands, and a heartbeat, sort of. And eyes, mostly the hands. There's door handles and lockers and...
Enough! We need your help. Will you help us?
No.
Just spit it out before you bore me to death.
Excellent. This is turning out much better than the activate the retreat protocols and cower in my room idea I had earlier.
Agreed. Oh, and I've used my robotical knowledge to, transmit the radio map waves to...
Cower in the room.
Settle down, 8. I would have gotten it in a second, all right? 8's transmitted the last known coordinates of the research centers. They, well, move sometimes. Or get buried. Or blow up.
8 is correct. All we need are the schematics. This does not mean we do not want the cold hard technology, however. So do not give in to your biological tired laziness and decide you would sweat too much carrying them. You have a new spine. Use it. And even if you die in the act of reclamation, simply reaching them will auto-transmitify the schematics to us. That is still good. For us.
High school horror. This whole place sounds dangerous. These devices sound dangerous.
Nonsense. This place is no more dangerous than a nuclear detonation site. Our technology is no more lethal than an overcharged Tesla cannon. The technologies are the X2 transmitter antenna array, used to focus coherent thought at excessively high frequencies.
That's how we used to hit people
The
with.
psychoanalytic, cardiac-dampening, sneaky stealth suit. A suit like nothing this world has ever heard, seen, or could ever see.
And 8's sonic soundwave emitter projectile gun, able to broadcast sound at lethal frequencies. It also gives a great biogel massage.
There. We have informed you of all we need. We estimate if you are focused, your time investment will be minimal, by our standards.
So, days or months.
If you work quickly, you will be the recipient of a gesture of gratitude from us. We do not bestow these old-world gestures lightly.
I just want to take my time and explore the crater.
What illogic is this? Keep your filthy penis-tipped feet out of our labs and secrets!
There are things here no lobotomite was meant to see. Things that would astound and possibly terrify. Terrify!
Yeah, we don't come into your lab and decant your solutions.
Only the magnificence of our monitors allow for true comprehension of the wonders of Big Mountain. Shield your jellied eyes lest they burn from your skull.
Then you can help me get this done as quickly as possible, right? Sounds like a lot of walking.
Ah, that is correct. You must walk upon your many penised feet. Much slower than our advanced hovering robotical frames.
The little teddy bear could always run right into the pylon perimeter on its thick, turgid feet, returning it to us quickly and directly.
That sounds suspiciously like I can't leave.
The radar fence that surrounds the Big Mountain crater will protect you from straying beyond the facility.
The mighty radar fence protects us all. Get too close to the blinking posts, and the proximity warning shall be your warning. You are too close.
If you get near it, your vision will blur as the electrodes in your head shut off one by one.
Possible memory loss will occur, along with long-term nerve degradation. It is tied to not having a brain attached to your nervous system. But the nerve degradation is nothing to worry about. Such degradation would take many lifespans to become evident. Such tiny inconveniences are less than the greater convenience. You see, if rendered unconscious by the pylons, you will be returned to the sink, seemingly instantaneously by your deadened perceptions.
Why can't you go out there and shut them down?
Out there? We're not going out there. It's dangerous. We're smart, not suicidal.
Oh, Dr. Klein? Dr. Klein? If I may intersect for a moment.
What is it? The lobotomite is asking me things, and I'm trying to ignore them.
My processors can't ignore you
can't
both
ignore
at the
you
same
both.
time.
Well, you know how we asked it to fetch the sonic emitter thing? Turns out we already have it. What are the odds?
What is this, a high school science fair? Get your act together. You're making us look like a collection of round earthers.
You're always yelling. My receptors can't take it anymore. And neither can my feelings.
I am yelling because you contaminated specimens can't keep your probes off the volume knob on my voice module.
Please stop fighting.
It is truly the end of all intelligence when the lobotomite speaks more wisdom than you geniuses. So, if we have the sound wave, sonic projecto thing gun, then what in Heisenberg's name do we need from X8? Anyone?
I believe we need a new frequency embedded into the gun. It was designed to broadcast many sounds once charged. We just don't know the frequency.
And it is lost in X8, just as X8 is forever lost to us. The sadness of my high school days, the sadness of my youth lost.
Oh, really, Boros? All you did in high school was call me Fink Tattletale and all the kids you hated. You little teacher's pet brown hound.
Give the lobotomite the emitter.
Oh, I don't think so. Wait.
What is he doing?
I think he's sonjaculating into the gun.
What the?
Getting it warmed up. Ding. Turkey's done.
You give it to the lobotomite. I'm not touching that thing.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll do it if you two are going to be ashamed of your own technological needs. Ooh. All right. All antibacterial fresh. Here, my little teddy bear. I have thoroughly removed all Robco termlink code spew from the device.
Energy cells have a high expenditure rate. Some extra reserve cells could offset that.
Yes, I believe Watt's Electronics tended to make the battery shelf life on the low end.
They certainly did. Batteries for my vivisectors would always come up short right before climax.
I think Watts manufactured holodiscs. Or was it holotapes? Never can keep those two straight. Anyway, we're out of small energy cells. You have some? Why do we... Actually, never mind. I don't even want to know. And no, I don't want to handle your batteries. Just pass them on to the lobotomite yourself.
The sonic gun looks like an energy projectile. Got anything that spits lead?
What did it say? Spit lead? What, like pencils?
Oh, I think it wants a combustion pistol.
A gun? Are you mad? We can't give it a gun. Guns kill.
Give Sheldon the gun,
Leave
give
big
Sheldon
open
the gun.
holes in you that are like sores, but worse.
Dr. 8 is correct. We already have given the teddy bear a lethal sonic death ray, filled with his sonic ejaculate and sterilized by my soft oohing. Giving the teddy bear a gun would be the equivalent of following a glass of hemlock with an Abraxo chaser. Delicious and redundantly deadly.
If we're going to bring the Socratic method into it, fine. Give the Loboto bear a combustion gun. Burroughs, don't you have something like that? Are you mad? We can't give it a gun. Guns... Wait, I said that already. Yes, I have the Cyberdog gun. With the little floppy metal ears and the curious nose sensor. Here. Fine. Done. That gun makes me uncomfortable anyway. Always worried it's going to hump my chassis.
Can I get more bullets?
Fine. Moros, more ammo. The good stuff. Top shelf ammunition. Let's see. Hollow point? That's worthless, but tasty. Oh, and here's some JFP. As if bullets need jackets. The JFP might make it ill and poop a lot, but when you're hungry, you're hungry.
These have been sterilized too, right?
The sonic emitter should be sterilized, and more than enough for you to encircle your warm hands around.
Careful where you're pointing that. That device wasn't always a weapon. It was more like a force field kind of thing.
Force fields prevent us from moving, forward or backward. They are irritating.
The
Yeah.
sonic emitter was specially designed to disable our own safety fields here in Big Mountain. When some of us lost our access passes, Dr. O.
That only happened once. And I know you were behind stealth fielding my lab keys, Dalla. You formographer.
Dr. O, you rewind that comment.
Plenty of rewinding already going on in your formography tapes. Surprised the things don't snap out of their cases with repeated observations.
So this gun you gave me can disable force fields.
Yes. Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, no, not currently.
Yeah, we lost that part of the schematics. Or Boros did. In one of his stupid labs. Or inside one of his stupid pets.
It is lost. All questions lead to this conclusion. The blue fields within Big Mountain shall be fielded with force. Forever.
Great. Can I go?
Fine, so, yes. Get these things for us. Do not attempt to comprehend their complicated schematics. That is for us to
Come on,
do.
I will comprehend them.
No.
Oh, I'll be sure not to tamper with anything. I promise.
Well, good. What are the token words spoken in this case? Thank you? Yes. Thank you.
Wait, is it leaving? But, Dr. Klein, the lobotomite will need rest, recuperation. I volunteer my chambers, so it might be stared at. My monitor radar slowly scanning its form to collect sensitive data.
No, that would put it too close to us. It could press buttons, turn lights on and off, and worse, let other lobotomites in.
We could give it Mobius's old room. That's where its brain got scooped out anyway. And plus some of its parts are already there. Might be more comforting for it to hang out with its spine and heart. Home is where the heart is, after all. See what I did there? Wet
I'm a
literal.
big joke. I'm a
I
big joke.
suppose. We'll have to move that couch out of there. Been putting that off too long.
Yeah, I bet you couldn't move the couch anyway.
H says, let the lobotomite take the Sync Central Intelligence personality chip and reinstall it. That stuffy Mobius program Butler can walk the lobotomite, feed it, barter with it.
It would also prevent it from going to Higgs Village and taking up residence there. With my teddy bears. And it would be nice to have it so close.
Your logic, combined with my desire to keep the think tank lobotomite free, has swayed me. Here, I present the Sync Central Intelligence. Lobotomite, take this chip to the sink, plug it in, and make sure the chip is clean, or it could skip.
Right.
Then make whatever crude biologic demands you need of the sink. It will cater to most of your hormonal whims.
Well, if I can trade with the Sync Intelligence, I'll need something to activate it.
I cannot dispute your logic. Do we have objects to activate the chip's exchange routines?
What, like stuff?
Yes, things.
Oh, they're saying stuff
I
and
don't know.
things.
Might be some old Nuka-Cola or Sunset Sarsaparilla bottle caps lying around. It's not currency per se. Still might be enough to trick the Sync's trade routines. Mobius put that test line for caps in the code as a debug command, I think.
I don't believe that was Mobius's reason. His wild speculation concerning post-Holocaust economic systems was quite extensive and of high decibel.
Enough! Surrender these so-called bottle caps, Nuka and Sunset alike. In their role as things, they will serve as adequate test subjects.
All right, here, cap away. Hope that stupid ship chokes on them.
This amount clearly represents a deficiency in the amount of caps.
Again, your logic is unassailable in its simplistic need.
Fine. It's not going to help. That ship will probably refuse them anyway.
I'd hate to come back here and ask for more. A little extra would guarantee you're not disturbed.
If I were not as intelligent as I am, I would feel as if perhaps I'm being tricked.
Maybe you're being
Impossible.
Impossible.
Oh, more.
That's
Why
impossible.
don't you make the lobotomite a bottle cap factory, Klein? Or better yet, give it a ton of things to activate the chip.
Hold on, let's be logical about this. I don't need a ton, just as much as I can carry.
Again, the logic of the request is clear. Tonnage is not needed, only adequate weight. Everyone, display your things.
I do not understand, yet I am intrigued by this potential display.
No, wait, you don't need to fill up the emitter again, really. All right, let's consolidate. There's got to be some junk around here. Magazines, useless, more caps, medicinal supplies,
Oh,
useless. Here.
Oh, they gave me some magazines. Dock bags, stim packs. I'll add them to the pile. This ship looks like it was mass-produced. Are there any others?
Are there other chips?
Are you echoing what he said, or are you asking for real?
He's asking, yes. Dr. Klein, there are many other personalities. If you recall, you hurled them off the sink balcony after your argument with Mobius.
It is not an argument if one is clearly right and the other is clearly wrong.
It's not an
I
argument because
remember
I'm
now.
right.
Yes, lobotomite. There are other chips. If you want, find them. I believe they're stored on holotapes in many of our facilities. But you should stay out of those. No exploring and discovering things. The Sync Central intelligence should be enough for your needs.
Alright, so plug it into the map thing upstairs.
Yes, you may need to wiggle it in a bit, but don't force it. We can't recode them if you break it.
Wiggle it
There
in,
is
right?
no more we can do to aid you, and our patience levels are depleted. Now go. Rest in the sink if you must, but leave us to our research.
If you're done, can we move again? My biogel's starting to crampagulate.
Of course! Go man your science stations! Go! I am surrounded by children.
Oh, I love the dialogue. Yep, it's just a bit of stuttering. Again, it's from removing the stutter remover, but on the other hand, the game works, so can't really complain too much. I love the dialogue in this DLC. It's really funny.
It's really good.
God, that doesn't happen every time I try and open something. Oh yeah, they wouldn't need to sleep, I guess. That makes sense. That's fine.
Sleep is cringe. I wish I didn't need to sleep.
Science. Science.
Science deal.
Super science. Fuck. Science Club. That's a lot of radio. Hello.
Have you done all we asked? If not, we will not hesitate to ask again.
Whoa. I think this is a Darla's room. I'll take that. Well, now that I've robbed you of all your belongings, which was not much.
Now that I stole all your stuff, which by the way, wasn't a lot, you should get more of it.
Stop. Breaking news! Talking lobotomite arrives in Think Tank. Its purpose,
Why do you all say
unknown.
impossible? Are you stupid?
Undefinable. Its presence here, impossible.
I think you mean impossible.
Oh, really? Now the lobotomite is a master of the dictionary arts. What, do you have a doctorate in verbology? No? I do. And stop the presses. Just in from my eye monitors. Is that Robco Tech on your arm? It is. What's your agenda bringing that in here?
My Pip-Boy?
How dare you bring Robco Tech in here? What are you showing off? How great Robert House and his big company are?
Oh, we can make Securitrons better than any robot those geniuses at Big Mountain could make, and they'll last 1,000 years.
Yes.
You're lucky I don't have hands to tear that dip boy off your arm, or feet to stomp on its stupid metal guts.
Why do I suspect you wouldn't be able to rip this off even if you were still human? Well, you don't need to worry about Mr. House anymore.
Worry about House? Why would I do that? Hope he died alone in a dingy room, streaming his last remaining bodily fluids into jars.
Now there's an image.
And him and his dirty girl bots. Don't even get me started on those filthy biological catcher's mitts.
Just wanted to ask some questions.
Fine.
What do you do here?
All things robotical. You see a robot? I made it. See a broken robot? I made it that way. Deconstructed it down to parts. I have a gift with machines. I can render anything inoperable. Preserve them in a
I can render
non-functioning
anything
state.
inoperable is not a flex. You sounds like you're just breaking machines.
Who asked you? You just wait until a working machine threatens you, and you'll wish I was around.
Do you have another name?
Yeah, I do. It wasn't always O. I just took that one by default because sometimes it's easier to accept the mistake as long as the purpose works. I don't want to get into it. It's a sore topic with me. Makes my gel ripple.
Are you sure? I'm a good listener.
Great. Psychology. Clearly the worst of the sciences, right after collostodiuretics. Okay, so my name isn't O. Never was. It was circular, a single character, digit, but not O. But even with enhanced sensors, no one here could get it right. Always kept seeing the letter, not the number.
So they kept confusing the letter with a number. Your name is Dr. Zero.
Yes, thank you. Zero. I am Zero. How hard is that? A narrow, thin zero.
So do you want me to call you Zero or...
Zero's my name. I'm proud of it, all right? It doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Truth be told, my emotional attachment to it doesn't even register compared to just having people recognize the difference. It's just that they're both sort of round and hollow, so when they monitor scan them, they assume that, oh, it's O. Vivisect me, please.
You know, if you wanted to differentiate the O and the O, you could put a slash through the 0.
What?
0, you draw a slash through it. It's a standard termlink code to distinguish the two.
Did I shoot myself with a brainial beam or something? That's brilliant.
I like how you did 9 intelligence to say that.
Eventually.
Big brain.
Who am I deceiving? I never would have figured that out. I can't figure anything out. I'm useless.
You're not useless.
So is that what you want to be?
Exactly. At least the old name was indisputable. O is more like surprise. Oh, look what I stepped in.
Well, there's power in 0. It reduces anything multiplied against it to 0.
Well, of course it does. That's the most lethal of mathematics. That's pretty cool, actually. Destroyer of numbers. I already wreck every robot I study. Why not basic arithmetic? I like your solution. With that kind of slash in the middle, I can set myself apart. If
Is it actually going to change the owner's name?
The biggest zero in all the think tank. They won't be able to escape it. That diagonal slash right down the middle. Thanks. Talking to you, it really helped unclog some frustration. Talking. What a primitive form of thought kicking.
So 0, got any amazing discoveries to share?
You know, hearing my name said like that, it really de-reses my screens. As for discoveries, well, of course. Look at this. Just, built it. Amazing, isn't it?
It certainly is interesting. Whatever it was.
You know what? I'm not even gonna pretend. I broke one of the monitors, and those innards start falling out everywhere. If you could just hold on to that for me until, well, forever, that would be welcome.
I do need scrap metal, so thank you. So what is up with Mobius and these monsters of his?
That genius Mobius somehow cobbled together these really impressive-looking robot scorpions with spare parts.
They're really cool.
Even painted them. Tried to see what makes them tick. Can't even examine them without them detonating all over me. Left with shrapnel and burns. Every time. Supposedly, he has even larger models, even a giant robot scorpion hidden deep within the Forbidden Zone. Yeah, right. Giant monsters, sure.
A giant robot scorpion.
Yeah, crazy, right? Something right out of a midnight science fiction feature. Ridiculous.
Can you tell me about this facility?
Big Mountain used to be a mountain. Then there was a slight mishap. Now it's a crater. The dome used to be buried, now it's exposed to the sky. Don't get me wrong. Makes the sky light up like a planetarium at night. All those spectra. So soothing.
I need more of those worthless caps that test the CIU barter function upstairs.
I'd have a few left. Yeah, there were a few under the monitors here. Here you go. Keeps the place tidy.
Thank you.
Until our next scheduled audio transmission and reception, then.
No problem, buddy.
I love to hear you breathe. You are an unusual specimen to so boldly walk into the mighty expanse of the think tank. Fearless and proud as a teddy bear. Between the extraction of their higher reasoning abilities and urination-inducing fear, most lobotomites dare not approach us, let alone speak to us. Yet you have no such fear. Facing me, epidermis flushed with blood, plasma running molten beneath, your face contorting with muscular expression.
I'm uncomfortable and I'm not even in the game.
Indulge me. Say a few words. Face towards the monitors, please.
The quick scribe jumped over the lazy paladin.
Yes, yes, go on. Seeing your lips and mouth forming words, both revolting and somehow... How does it feel to have the flesh roll around
It's
in
very
your
well
mouth
written
like
dialogue
that?
because it makes me
To
uncomfortable,
control
which is things
each
supposed to
muscle and the tongue. Like having a fish or extremely
Ew.
dexterous slug lolling and flopping in one's mouthal cavity.
Wait, I gave Sheldon the lady killer part?
Sex singer.
Sex zinger. It seems to me you have more biological needs than your counterparts.
What? Nonsense.
Close eyelid, breathe deeply and stretch.
What? What are you
I
doing?
leveled up for making the robot sexually frustrated.
But why?
Stop it. Why? Why are you making me partake in this filthy formography? Enough. I am already intrigued. I don't know what it is about the biology of lobotomites. It infects my thoughts. All that skin and muscle and tissue.
You're a bunch of hypocrites, claiming superiority, but you miss it being human.
Human is
I cannot deny it. The illogic of it. The betrayal of our own beliefs. I blame my curiosity.
I could come back any time and just breathe if you want.
Would you? I feel so ashamed, but yet so intrigued. You'll need to give me a rest in between visits, or else my gel might run over. If you're ready, let me radar scan you. Slowly. Ooh, purple, purple, ooh. Bloop, 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 purple. Ba-ba, bloop. Ba-ba, bloop. Whew. Last little bit there. Thank you,
I
lobotomite.
think I'm gonna get banned from Twitch
Please,
for sexual
you must
content.
come
And
back for
the
further
bot that
study
does it
when
won't
I've
even
had
know
a
what's
rest.
happening.
I'm a little sensitive right now.
bot will be like off to horny jail, and you'll be like, no.
Who are you and what do you do here?
Why, my little bear of teddiness. I am Dr. Dala, first head chief researcher of mineralogy and medicinal sciences. I have 211 doctorates in both applied sciences and techniques to apply those sciences. I also possess a degree in curiosity and advanced curiosity. That is merely schooling, however. When possible, I prefer fieldwork and observation to holotape eidetics. It has proven useful, especially now. I have become the expert on humanology and lobotomite behavior here at Big Mountain. My research doesn't descend into formography. It is only science.
211 doctorates? How is that even possible?
Why, we create not only scientific marvels here at Big Mountain, but new sciences as well. Everything can be quantified, categorized, and dissected until every group can be subgrouped or partitioned.
That's a lot of titles.
What is a name without a title or suffix for the sake of hierarchy? It is a long-standing quantification of personality and importance.
Well, shit, now you
We
make
could
me feel
not do
bad.
without it. Surely you must be aware of the gravity of such attached appellations, just as surely as you must have a title.
I'm sometimes called a courier.
Oh, a mailman. You are the second one I've met in recent times. Very different specimens.
There was another courier?
Of course. You must have met others in your travels. This one had met other couriers too. although it sounded as if he hadn't met the correct one. He asked us all many questions, and then he asked a most perplexing one. We had to segment the event out of our memories for safety.
What was the question?
I do not know, nor should we try to access it. Perhaps Klein has the logs. My evaluation would be to let your own curiosity go. I do not think that Klein remembers the conversation as being satisfactory.
How and why did you remove my brain?
Oh, removing it is a simple procedure. Well, except the complications it can cause to the heart and spine. But once the heart and spine are gone, no trouble at all. Clamp the subject down. One laser incision around the skull. Crack, snip, done. The brain is finally free of the skin envelope, which is then kept automated for cleanup duties around Big Mountain. Lobotomites. With you, however, something is definitely wrong. I am relieved the pacification field is working. If it didn't, I would broadcast some concern to my colleagues about safety protocols.
How is the walking around and talking? This doesn't make any sense.
That is a good question. My theory is that the Tesla coils in your brain pan are still connected to your brain somehow. It really could be anywhere. Brains are a lot smarter than most researchers give them credit for. We still have your spine and heart. If you were to somehow find your brain, wherever it sloped off to, you could humanically reduce yourself again.
There's mechanical enhancement, there's humanical reduce, and I'm over here like, I want to be Jello.
And I'm over here like, I don't want any spine. I don't want mechanical spine.
I'm
I
jelly.
don't want human spine. I want to be jelly man.
Feels strange in here, peaceful but on edge.
It is the pacification field emitters that are broadcasting into the emptiness of your skull. Without a brain, your aggression is suppressed in here.
Is there any way to shut it off?
Why would you want such a thing? You might surrender to your hormones and commit primal aggression on me, on us, again and again. Then I would have to return the favor, activating my vivisectors and gently lobotomizing you from behind. Not something I would relish doing. No, the only way to circumvent the field is to have a brain, and we extracted that like we do all the lobotomites here.
I have other questions.
Perhaps you are stuck in a looping gesture of verbal intercourse.
Okay, can you tell me about Dr. Mobius?
Dr. Mobius, a monstrous brain creased with wrinkles of 1,000 evils, with but one jaundiced eye with which to perceive the world. Exiled from the think tank for crimes too heinous to remain in recorded memory, and perhaps differences in research methodology. His one terrible eye forever peers at us, an eye of ever-increasing magnification. He watches from his dome in the Forbidden Zone, spying on us all.
I don't understand how the tech Klein wants will help.
It'll all become clear. If not, at least we will have the technology here at the dome where all technology belongs. When we have all the technology, all the answers, we can share it with the world, piece by piece.
That doesn't sound good.
All will be in order, and all will be like Big Mountain.
Can you tell me about the Big Empty?
The Big Empty? Now that's not a proper title for this research facility. You sound like previous test subjects that came here. This mountain, now crater, encompasses the sum total of knowledge of humankind. It is Big Mountain, where all questions can be answered. You'll see. No matter what your questions, Big Mountain will provide the answers, as it has done for so many before you.
Previous test subjects?
Oh yes, we've had other subjects visit. Only a short time ago, we had 3-1 subjects arrive, and they ruined several experiments, and even injured 2 of our staff. It is a shame their brains left with them. With you, however, we have taken precautions to ensure that problem won't repeat itself. We've conditioned you so you can't speak of this place, discuss our secrets, or attempt to use force against us in any way. Isn't that nice?
3 minus 1?
Because 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 spoke to us, one after the other. One mean, one curious. But there was a third we didn't speak to. The last one is the -1. It got traumatized, then taken to one of our medical centers for de-traumatization.
What happened with the visitors?
Ask Dr. O. And you could have asked 8 once, until he was severely damaged in the attack.
You like him better.
We like him better this way.
I have other questions. Actually, no, I don't. We've spoken.
Until our next interaction, my intriguing little lobotomite.
Shit, my lost perk.
What are your options?
A lot. From any chemistry set, you may mix insect eggs, mutant blood, and irradiated ingredients to create hatch-ready life forms. Ew. Can resurrect the dead as powerful glowing ones, with a doctor's bag and a Valus centaur blood. Your outstanding repair skill and science skill have adapted the technique of converting any pre-war suits or gambler suits to power armor. I don't think so.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got him. You got that perk mod that gives you
Yeah.
a bunch of stupid perks.
Nerves of Seal is always good. 24 and Heartless. Constantly consume overcharge and max charge energy ammo to use 5 pound energy resistance. No thank you. Placebo effect. After gaining such incredible knowledge from magazines, you manage to boost your skill before reading the first page. With this perk, every magazine you own provides +1 skill, max at +3 each. No.
Doesn't sound useful at all, actually.
Whenever I'm on a fire, I gain a holy hand grenade. Grim Reaper Sprint is always good.
Yeah.
Some tribals believe that you are a prophet and their lives are at your disposal. When your health is below 50%, a tribal rig with explosives may show up and suicide bomb your enemy.
What? Pick something not stupid.
That's awesome.
That's cringe.
Load speed increases, gun speed decreases. Gun spray. Action point activated. Oh, jeez. With the light step perk, can never set off an enemy's mines or floor-based traps. That's a perk that's in the base game, I think.
Yeah. I think so.
Ghoulificated Heart. Your angelic mind shines through the Mojave. Your feral ghouls show respect for your presence. This perk, nearby feral ghouls come to your aid.
A lot of these are dumb.
Yes. The silent running perk, running no longer factors into successful sneak attempt.
That means you. So let me. That's a base game one, I think.
I might get that one.
Get a cool one that gives you a big penis.
Laser weapons aim more accurately, plasma weapons do more damage, pyromaniac weapons attack faster. You can turn goo and ash into the same type of ammo that left your foes this way. Nerd Rage. Your strength is raised to 10, you gain 15% damage special whenever your health drops below 20. That's pretty good for Sheldon.
Yeah, I think that's a good Sheldon perk.
We'll go with this unless I see a better one. Math Wrath. You're able to optimize your Pip-Boy's VATS logic, reducing all AP cost by 10%. That's
Like,
definitely added by a thing, but that also makes sense.
No, that's base game.
Oh, is it? Math Wrath?
Yeah.
Okay, I might take that one.
It's just an action points are cheaper thing, which is pretty useless actually.
Yeah. Animal Friend. Sheldon? I doubt it.
Gonna be sing to those animals.
I think Nerd Rage is what I'll be going for.
Sounds like a good one.
Ooh, hand loader for my guns.
That's also a good one, I think.
More likely to cover cases and holes. You also have all hand load recipes unlocked. Hand loads are like high level bullets, aren't they?
They're good bullets, I think. Yeah.
Field medic. Dedicate medic among your comrades. You may attempt to revive a fallen ally at the cost of a super stim pack. That's added from the more perks thing, but I like it.
Sheldon would never help people.
I think Nerd Rage is the best one to go with.
Yeah, I think so.
Craft ammo at the reloading benches using alternate materials, scrap metal and tin cans. Wait, junk rounds is in the base game, right?
Yeah.
I might get that. I wouldn't mind doing.
Yeah, but junk ammo. If you're gonna get an ammo making perk, I'd probably get them.
Hand load it. Yeah.
Yeah. Spam loader.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nerd Rage. No, I'm gonna go with Silent Money. Is that in the base game?
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah, because we got the we're gonna get the stealth suit. I don't know actually. I don't know. I think hand loader is probably the one I would want. Ugh. It's my last perk, so I want to get something that's fun.
Good.
And hand loader is fun.
Yam loader.
Shells for Shelly. Oh, you're gonna save the game. Yeah, it is a shame that the stuttering is back. I might see if there's a different mod that fixes it.
Yeah, there should be, probably.
Yeah, I'll dig around. Alright, so we've got Dr. 8 to talk to, we've got Dr. Boris and Dr. Klein himself. I'll talk to Dr. Boris first. Oh yeah, look, I am actually science role-playing as Sheldon because I have the all-purpose science suits and the plasma rifle. Sheldon approved.
So you'll have the stealth incel suit?
Yeah, the stealth incel suit also works for Sheldon and also has a little robotic AI, which I suspect Sheldon would get along with.
Yes, that's why I call it the incel suit because it's a electronic AI that flirts with you.
I know. God, I wish that
That's
would.
why I call it the incel suit.
God, I wish that would.
That feeling when no big titty AI GF.
Can you speak? Do you understand me? Your voice module got damaged, I heard, in an attack. That's too bad. Pretty sure you can understand me. You tell me about the attack? Part of the damage? Who are you? Sounds important, I think. Alright, just calm down, didn't mean to alarm you. Tell me about the tech Klein wants. You sound agitated. Wait, after listening a bit. That's Robco Terminlink protocol you're broadcasting, right? Well, I've hacked enough Robco terminals to know. Nice pun on the head of file ref. I agree, if someone would take the time, you're more than just sound effects in a tank. If that's Robco Terminlink Protocol, doesn't that mean it can be hacked? Don't worry, I wouldn't take advantage of your exposed code.
After voice sign in.
Not a problem, I know what it's like to be experimented on. Is there any other way you could have fired up my gun except for, what you did? Can you tell me about the sonic emitter? Really? Higgs Village. So your house is there. There's an emitter code in your house. 2 codes, one for the jukebox and one for the opera. I'll keep my eye out. Thanks a lot. I'm smart, and because I'm a smart nerd, I can understand his code speak.
Oh, I'll give you a hello. A hello unsurpassed in all creation. The lobotomite animal before me. What other terrifying terrors will plague us in our quest for knowledge? Communists? Communist animals, perhaps? Be warned. Attempt to propaganda me. I will shriek as a frightened babe, calling loyal cyber dogs to my aid. Do you comprehend, commie animal?
Do you always get this dramatic?
Drama? There is no drama in science. As I learned in high school, science is an intellectual pursuit devoid of bestial emotions. Unless, of course, you are a communist. Like Betsy Bright, who sat next to me in math, and her smoking Confederate Richie Marcus. As I learned in my high school, American High, AHS, drama is for movies, things of fiction. Here in the think tank, the only star is science.
Who are you and what do you do here?
Before you is the brain of Dr. Boros, head of animology, beastology, and DNA scrambling technology here at Big Mountain. I lay the bones and hearts of animals bare beneath my searing gaze, especially the dogs. I did so love dogs once. Especially Gabe, that rascal. But there are many animals to shape. Industrious cazadors, the happy-go-lucky night stalkers. They are my living, breathing
So you
DNA
created
test
these
tubes.
painful monsters. You're responsible for cazadors?
Indeed. Docile, curious, safe,
Safe
sterile.
and contained?
They are contained here at Big Mountain to preserve DNA and for observation.
These things are all over the Mojave.
No, such creatures are found only here, for research purposes.
No.
They would no more be capable of escape than breeding.
Escape and breeding. They definitely breed.
I cannot expect a lobotomite to understand the careful surgical castrating procedures used in their creation. Perhaps a demonstration of my
No, do not demonstrate the
castrating
castration
power would settle your doubts.
Well, I mean, based off how well it worked on them, I don't think it'd affect you very much.
Go ahead, you might make me more fertile or impregnate me.
Impregnate you? What? Do you want to make me vomit inside my tank? The mere notion makes the edges of my biomed gel crystallize into asymmetrical patterns.
You don't seem to have a grasp on your own research.
Nonsense! That is what you speak. Nonsense from beyond. I was at the top of my high school class in American high school. I knew facts. I knew
They're all a
figures.
different kind of nerd,
I
aren't they,
knew
these guys?
data. We would know if our research was flawed. It is not. We We never contradict ourselves, so do not even try.
Alright. What purposes... When did you create Cazadors?
In 2000, let's see, carry the 3, then count backwards from the Great Static, or beyond. There were the Tarantula debates, and something about hawks, which made it around 2003, May, Tuesday. It was definitely Tuesday. Why are we even debating this? What you ask is of no importance. Mobius besieges us. There are more important things to worry about than data and facts.
Ben Shapiro moment. Alright, tell me more about Mobius in the Forbidden Zone, which is clearly more important.
The malignant tumor that is Mobius plagues us all. His hunger for power, insatiable. From his lair in the Forbidden Zone, his terrifying Robo-Scorpion army clicks and whirs across the crater of Big Mountain, ever seeking, ever stinging. He must be stopped, or all of Big Mountain shall be destroyed.
Tell me about the radar fence around the crater.
The radar fence protects us all. If evidence is correct, the one who built it is me. It keeps anything with a disembodied brain inside, like us, and anything without a brain also inside. It is the ultimate defense against communist aggression. There'll be no infectious ideas on my watch.
So you're trapped here.
Trapped? Nonsense.
Secure.
We are secure here from evil philosophies. Ever since my anxiety-filled days of powerlessness and being bullied in American high school, I have dreamed of such security as the fence. That and giant cybernetic dogs that would ruthlessly patrol and kill anyone who wasn't my friend, like Richie Marcus and Betsy Bright. Who's laughing now, Betsy? I hope you and Richie are happy smoking in your radioactive coffins. I'm glad you never came to my birthday party.
But there's a whole world beyond this place.
No! Beyond is death.
Guess what?
Despite mounting evidence to the contrary. No matter where these strange humans wander in from with their ideas and new brains, there is nothing beyond Big Mountain.
Doesn't that prove you're wrong?
You sound like the other visitors, making wild claims of a world beyond, where there is a war beyond war. It is unproven and unthinkable. Bother the other doctors with your crackpot theories.
Why does Klein want to protect these technologies?
There is logic and purpose in it. If these technologies are needed to pierce the Forbidden Zone, so be it. Science is powerful, and in the right hands, our hands, if we had hands, we would be nigh unstoppable.
Such good voice acting as well. It really sells all the great dialogue.
If we had hands.
They're not like some of them aren't funny until they say them because it's just good voice acting.
Yes.
Can you tell me about Big Mountain?
It is our home, threatened by the horrors of Mobius. All we wish to do is continue our research, layer upon layer, above and beneath the floor of the crater, until we have our answers. But no, Mobius will not let us rest, scaring us with his scary robots with their laser tails and blowing up all the time.
Scary robots.
Scurry.
I saw the expanse in the balcony. You've made a real mess of this landscape. This crater looks like it's been tag teamed by giant fuckballs.
No. Sheldon would never.
It was not our first choice of testing grounds, but we no longer have the luxuries of our test cities.
Test cities?
Then we lost the mountain. After the explosion, we couldn't find it anymore. So the crater became our testing grounds for science.
I always like how, like, this kind of nerd parody is like, hey, that nerd who loses his lunch money at school might not be a great person just because he gets his lunch money taken from him at school.
Look, getting his lunch monies taken made him a war criminal. That's how it works. You steal
Wait.
someone's lunch money, they become a war criminal.
Test cities?
Yes. In the past, individuals would come to us, pay for technology, and if their town, community, or city was just right, we could use that city as a controlled experiment. Vault-Tec was much better at it, of course. We had to make do. Get permission. Sometimes. If only we could have used commie cities. But capturing whole cities was hard. So we captured enough commies to make cities of our own.
Experiments.
So we had a group of Chinese prisoners to experiment on.
Oh my God.
Those were the days. But the true test was science on unsuspecting Americans. Whether it was holograms, new autodocs, toxins, vending machines, we wound them up, let them go into tiny, isolated towns. Then we observed.
Wow. You genocided people with science. That's epic.
Epic gamer moment.
What was this explosion?
Boom! Yes. Quite unexpected and embarrassing. All better now after the landscaping, though. And the crater helps keep everything inside, because it is bowl-shaped.
It is bullshit.
Submit your questions. I shall respond with deadly answers.
You know, I think we've spoken enough.
Until next time, then. Provided there is a next time. For any of us.
Oh, it's the kill rising. Cannot draw a weapon.
I am not cringe. You
Alright,
are the
time
one.
to talk to the
Have you
big man
done
himself.
all we asked? Did you retrieve the technologies yet?
I'd be honored if I could hear any knowledge the think tank has to share on the sciences.
Why, yes. We are filled with the knowledge you speak of. If you wish to know more, simply ask the others.
I heard one of the previous visitors to the dome spoke to you, asked you some questions.
Hmm? Oh, yes, the last visitor. Well, the one just before you. Had an interesting name from some language that's almost impossible to speak. What did we speak about? Melancholy fellow. Had questions about history, but our conversation got interrupted. Twice, I believe. Once when the trains got derailed, and then a second time. Oddly enough, now that I'm accessing my databanks, I don't recall what the second time was. Mobius's incessant transmissions keep distracting me. Also, we didn't brain scrub the visitor. He may have left with some knowledge he shouldn't have. Oh well, I'm sure it's of no consequence. I don't make many mistakes in calculation or perception, so
Oh, I'm sure he didn't get any
probability
nuclear
favors
codes
me.
or anything. So, you seem like the one in charge. You are...
I am Dr. Klein, Chief Head Researcher of Logistical Operations and Ideology here at Big Mountain. I am surprised you have not heard of me. I am first in my field, first chair, as it were, back in the days of chairs.
Who is Dr. Mobius?
Dr. Mobius was not the horrifying creature you saw up on the screen, twisted by science.
He looks like you
He was
guys.
once one of us, a friend. He researched in directions contrary to the think tank. Brains, 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 always about the brains. So we exiled him.
He says he left of his own volition, but that was to save him the embarrassment. Now he sends his intelligence-consuming scorpions from the Forbidden Zone to plunder the secrets of Big Mountain. He is a menace.
They consume intelligence. Are you certain of your findings?
Dr. O is certain of his findings, and no one else in the think tank is willing to test the results. Loss of brainial power. Terrifying. O has said on many occasions his inability to comprehend Mobius's robo-schematics is because of repeated robo-scorpion stings.
Yeah, but he's also an idiot. I talked to him, but anyway.
What do you mean? He has a degree in business.
A theoretical one, you might say. You know, I wish Mr. Fantastic was here. They'd think he was so smart.
He would defeat them in a battle of wits.
Yes, I hope. Oh god, I paid to see that in this DLC. What is this place?
This is the think tank. The nerve center of Big Mountain. The greatest research center known to man. Here we test and test and test some more in the name of science. Atomic power, nuclear power, and scientific power.
I've heard this place called the Big Empty.
Yes, because the intellectually challenged see an M and a T next to each other and take Occam's razor to it. While you are here, you will refer to this place properly, and you will do the same with the other scientists here.
What have the strange passive sensation in here?
It's a side effect of the cerebral scrubbing. It won't stop you from excreting or asking questions, apparently. Have to correct that next time. Hormonal aggressive tendencies are actively suppressed, however. They are a no-no, and the scrubbing also ensures your silence to keep Big Mountain safe. This facility is top secret, and you cannot speak of it to anyone outside of Big Mountain. Should have done it with the last batch, and the anti-aggression scrub.
Why the anti-aggression programming?
We had to take precautions after the last visitors. Should have made sure they couldn't mention Big Mountain once they left. An oversight.
Who were they?
Dr. 8 and Dr. O could tell you more. Dr. O more than 8. Suffice to say, those visitors are unwelcome. They stole a great many secrets and much technology. Impertinent. They also broke one of my trains.
No. They broke his train. That would make Sheldon very mad. I'd like to know about the Forbidden Zone.
That glowing red scar? That laser lobotomy canyon maze carved in the landscape as if by some child? It is Mobius's fortress. From that hemorrhoidal fissure, he sends his amazing robo-scorpions to terrify and irritate us. He always tended to the dramatic.
Hemorrhoidal fissure is an interesting name for Fat Fortune. Can you tell me more about these pylons?
Ask Boros. Mobius was involved in their construction, if I recall. But he's such a hack, he probably was reading off Boros's notes and schematics.
Okay, well, I have some questions about the brain extraction you performed.
Well, we didn't actually do it. We tried to clean up after, as always, but usually the auto-dock runs are remote. But we programmed it, or Mobius
like Mobius
did.
is the only smart one hit.
Still, this new wrinkle with the Tesla coils in your skull was unexpected. I mean, we predicted we'd have a breakthrough eventually, but Dala knows more. She supervised your spine peel and the heart circumcision, then dumped them both into the tanks in the sink above. Quite sanitary. Sure took her time. She always takes longer than projected with lobotomite surgeries. Not sure why.
So Mobius has my brain.
Yes. In all probable likelihoods, yes. Possibly. That it may have gone to Mobius is merely an inkling. I don't know why, but it may be something involving the surgery code. Actually, I don't know. All I know is it misplaced itself, or it floated off. They get into robots sometimes and go on a tear.
So Mobius set up the auto-dock medical routine, so you think he's responsible for it getting dumped?
Yes, always leaves back doors into things. Have to keep finding them. The auto-dock is now erased of his routines. It was thorough. Only Mobius would know for sure what happened with the procedure. Well, and your brain, of course, it would know as well.
My brain would know?
It can communicate the procedure when we examine it. It is conceivable to trace its surgical scalpel prints once we have the brain. Might take some time, but your brain has no pain nerve to scream at us while we dissect it. Convenient. I detest screaming in my lab.
What's with this orthodox surgery code you mentioned?
Mobius's legacy code was in the old auto-dock. Yes, it fried itself after your procedure, so it is unfortunate. We would have benefited from knowing how the breakthrough occurred. Even if we installed another chip, the information is lost.
Why would Mobius want my brain?
Why does he seek our destruction? Why did he build robot scorpions with intelligence training stingers? It is because he hasn't cleaned his biogel in a long time. Clearly he's got some sort of psychological corrosion.
Robot scorpions drain intelligence. How?
I'm not certain. Perhaps it only affects machines. If so, you may be immune. If it is chems, then we have nothing to fear. Since we are afraid, it must not be chems, and you need not fear, which means you can test it. Logical.
Yes. I have to go now.
Yes, a most goodbye.
Well, that was a lot of dialogue with all of them, but it does actually make sense considering there's not that many characters in this DLC. So it is quite nice that they have quite a lot to go around.
There's you. You're quite the character.
True. Actually, there's going to be a lot more characters to be added to the base. So why don't we go take a little gander at that? A lot less stuttering on the loading screens and stuff. I have noticed, however, when I try and open boxes. Yes, opening boxes seems to be a little source of a problem, so I'll try and get that fixed between sites. I think I'll install the chip and then be done for the day. Have a little look around the big MT, because we did most of the talking, and then we'll do a lot of questing later.
No, I hate questing. I hate quests. I just want to shoot gun and find settlement.
Based on the other tanks from you, perception, so your brain refloating, spine. That doesn't feel any different from the spine from usual. If anything, you feel stronger. Your new heart seems to be working just fine.
Salutations and felicitations, sir, and a most jocund welcome to the scene. I am your electronic valet and household central processor.
Valet.
May I be of service?
Some kind of AI?
Regrettably not, sir. All modules in this habitat are synthetic personalities atop a mundane operating system. There is no intelligence here, sir.
So there are other modules?
Indeed, sir. Though if Sir's aim is to activate them, I lament to inform, sir, that most have been offline for some years. If Sir were to ask my opinion, I should venture that Sir is better off without them. However, if Sir is determined to inflict upon Sir's self their dubious services, Sir might locate backup personality discs elsewhere in the facility.
What a novel and interesting idea for a collection. Like, hey, how do we get the players to explore this environment? Well, giving them items and gears and weapons might not be that tempting because it's a DLC and they probably got a lot of stuff at this point. What if they could access new and unique services and get new characters? That's an actually pretty cool idea for a collection quest, and is actually one of the only collection quests I actually finish.
Why don't I get new settlement, though? I want a new settlement.
So I can access their functions without loading the personality holotapes?
Tragically, the core operating systems are also located on the personality tapes. Once the tape is installed, Sir may request I switch their dialectic interfaces off, and I shall oblige with great delectation. However, Sir will still be required to locate and install a backup holotape.
Why are there so many?
As I am given to understand, sir, This facility was once the property of a Dr. Mobius. He crafted the personality modules as part of a collection of experiments on the subject of machine-human interface. As to the reason for the unusual choices of devices to receive the modules, I cannot say.
Never mind. Let's, what can you
In
give me?
addition to managing the personality matrices of the other household utilities, I can provide Sir with direct access to the commissary. Any goods Sir might require may be purchased through my shopkeep interface, whence tiny robots shall deliver them forthwith to this very domicile.
Alright, let me buy some things. Well, I have Revelation already. Science suit. I'll buy a patient gown to repair my stuff. Radiations. I'll buy all that. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
And I like buying ammo, so I'll buy all of your ammo. Because I'm rich.
No, you're Sheldon.
I'm rich, Sheldon.
Turned myself into a Sheldon. I'm rich Sheldon. I don't apologize for what you chat. This is what you all deserve.
I don't need grenades. Yes, it does appear to still be stuttering. However, on the more obvious... God, it is really nice to be able to see this entire environment in its... all of its low-res glory. I think the stuttering seems to have come on like as a consequence of playing the game for a while, so it's probably a bit of loading bloat, so I should be able to get rid of it, hopefully. Hopefully, yeah. Probably another thing worth noting is, well, as we can plainly see from the length to which I played the game, all of the quick, hard crashes to desktop seem to have stopped. I might be, you know, putting my foot in my mouth, and it might just happen right now. I doubt it, to be honest, but...
I just crashed your game. I did it.
Now, 45 super rounds. Nice. Hollow points. Oh yeah, and I've got the match rounds, which are cool. I swear there's a recipe to break down... Yep, scrap metal to lead, perfect. Now I can make a lot of rounds. I'd probably make match rounds if I could. If I'm gonna make ammo, I should make it for like heavy weapons that I'm gonna be using a lot of. And of course I can break down other ammos to get the powder I need for it. I'm probably going to make 50 MG rounds, they're the most expensive rounds to make, and I can get a lot of them. 8 anti-material rifle rounds are pretty fucking good, so I'll take those. And they're high quality. But yes, apart from the stuttering on that end, the game is very stable. So it should be very much possible to keep playing the game like normal. I'm always just willing to just put up with the inventory screens taking that long to load. I'll see what I can do to fix it. Aside from that, honestly, the game's run really fine. We've been able to play through this whole section of the game pretty well. Stuttering's actually not been that bad either, so removing the stutter remover has been overall not too bad either. Even in a high density environment like this. Actually, interesting thing about the stutter remover that you might see now if you've watched one of the older videos, the frame rate's probably improved because the stutter remover caps your frame rate to 30. I don't know why either.
It's probably the
actually,
consistency probably helps with the stutter.
Yeah, it probably is to lock it to make it not subtle, but it is a bit annoying. Yeah, it seems like we'll be able to live stream New Vegas as normal, which is great because I love this game. On top of which, I would say after this, I'm probably going to play Tyranny. That looks like the RPG I'd like to play the most. I've heard good things, and it's a new game, which means I'll be discovering it alongside whoever joins, if anyone does. I know the stream doesn't get that many views, but I like streaming. It's fun. And it's nice to be able to talk about a game I like so much, which was the allure of streaming New Vegas in the first place.
Thank you for your support, random guy.
Is there someone in chat?
It hasn't. No, I don't know. I'm not in chat.
Well, either way, these will be archived for the future. Maybe things will pick up. Maybe we'll only get 5 or 10 views. Even 10 viewers would be fine by me.
Just fine by me.
I mean, hey, if you were performing to an audience of 10 people in real life, you'd feel pretty good
A
about
most
that.
rapturous good morrow on your return
No, I
to your
wouldn't.
domicile,
I'd be
sir.
like, oh
I
shit,
trust
why
we
are
shall
this
find
many
things
people
in order
looking
and the
at me?
riff-raff contained.
Maybe you.
Yes, I don't like being looked at. Have you seen me?
Yes.
Have. Pretty cringe.
Do you like the mod for this, for the, big empty house?
No, I hate it.
Really?
It's not empty enough.
I suppose you're right, it is actually pretty filled. One thing I actually like is that they made all the this is something that happens with a lot of these mod makers, is they don't understand that the creation engine is really bad with physics. And they put like a bunch of real objects in the house, and the moment you pick up anything off the table, they'll all start to float mysteriously.
Fly around. They'll float away into the void.
Fortunately, all the objects here you see are static, so there's no horrible frame rate dropping, memory bloating, crashed desktop thing to happen because these are all static objects with no physics or any real properties. So fortunately, while looking really nice, unlike a lot of housing mods, especially where Skyrim's concerned, because that one is flooded with bad house mods, this is actually not very intensive on memory, but it wouldn't be doable on PS3, but it is doable on PC. So, I'm enjoying that too. Overall, I'm looking forward to doing this DLC especially. Old World Blues is probably my favorite DLC. It's either that or Dead Money. I'd say Dead Money has the better level design, and it's probably the better one gameplay-wise. I just like Old World Blues a lot from a new environment, it just has a lot of unique items and armor in it, and I like all the characters in it, which we'll be getting to know in the future. So thank you for watching if you stuck with us so far, and we'll be ending the stream.
Bye.
Hopefully that stutter gets fixed.
No, I will make it worse. Stutter, stutter,